cares? Is half you'd even care when the lights are up and the sun is nearly gone down?
Well, first off, we're live here officially on, what is it, Wednesday night, October 8th, 2025. I'm going to fade it out. I'm trying to fade it out. I haven't figured out the fade out part. But I think this is our official go-to song anytime Zombie Bob is on the show. This might be our official intro song because there is nobody who exemplifies the King of New Orleans better than Zombie Bob himself.
Well, thank you for that.
And also
better than Ezra, right?
Better than Ezra, King of New Orleans.
It sounds a little bit. It's got a little bit of cowboy mouth in it.
Ooh, I forgot you loved Cowboy Mouth back in the day.
They were the same. Huh?
Yeah, like same New Orleans band.
Better than Ezra. That the one with the curtain in the background. That was a pretty well-to-do CD album. That did really well in the United States. I think one with a wah and it's good or whatever. A wah.
Yeah.
That did really well, but all their other stuff there is pretty much a local band.
Well,
I can't remember the.
They did better than Cowboy Mouth, but I mean, we used to go see Cowboy Mouth at Rendon Inn. Yeah, 95, 94, like crazy.
How many times have you seen Cowboy Mouth live, Zombie Bob?
Jenny says, turn off the radio.
Yeah, Jenny says is a great one. Live, I couldn't tell you.
Look, Lon's got it teed up, ready to go.
Got the Les Paul.
You know who I didn't listen to because I was young, but I saw Better than Ezra with Dead-Eye Dick. You remember them?
Dead-Eye Dick, right? Right? Oh, Dash Rip Rock back in the day. That's even earlier.
Oh, yeah, Dead-Eye Dick.
Oh, going 90s. Really way back, way before any of y'all. The Cold was a New Orleans band, and Ellen DeGeneres' brother was in that band. And my cousin Craig was friends with him, and so I met them. But next time, Daniel will do an intro, 3 Chord City by The Cold.
You're gonna have to send that to me. You're gonna have to remind me.
I am really, really look if we have special guest Lonn Phillips Sullivan back again with us tonight on Wild Card Wednesday on the Go team, and Lonn was really impressed when we threw out a David Woodley reference last time we were on, and so these ancient references to bands in the early '80s that would play CYO dances throughout New Orleans or stuff like that. That's not LSU football. That's a different show, different topic altogether. But Lonn, we're thrilled that you're back again with us, and we got Brother Chip, we got Daniel, the moderator, Zombie Bob here, just talking about shit that nobody knows anything about and doesn't care. So we're gonna dive into some LSU football. Lonn, what have you been up to since last we saw you?
Zombie Bob, the King of New Orleans himself, Zombie Bob. Everybody, thank you for having me on again.
Absolutely.
I've just been wondering, what are we going to see Saturday? It's going to be wild. I think it's going to show a lot of the future for this team.
Right. No, I couldn't.
What about you all?
Good.
I read your article today. I read that. That was a good piece, Lonn.
Chip, where can we find that article? Where can we find that article?
That's live right now on LSUhonesty.com. Here's the thing. For me, it was a tough article to really do because I felt like I couldn't get into the meat of it as much as possible because there's so many kind of speculation things going on. Could we see, Nussmeier go down in the first half and then we have to use Michael Van Buren? There's so many different things that could happen in this game that are just, I think it's going to be a very low scoring game. I think it's going to be a bloodbath, but we'll get into that as well. But that article I think was it was tougher for me to write because South Carolina, you look at their numbers, man. LSU outrushes South Carolina.
which is wild.
There's some things that are just weird. You look at Lenore Sellers, only 98 rushing yards, but he has 130 yards taken off from sacks. And remember, he was concussed and knocked out of that half against Vandy. So he's had some stuff go against him as well. You got two quarterbacks that have kind of some failing, supporting casts. Two really low scoring teams. I think, the most points South Carolina scored all year was 38 points. But then again, the most they've allowed this season was 31. So I think it's just going to be a very low scoring. Maybe it's going to be frustrating for LSU fans, but they've got to understand we might be up against a really good defense here in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Depends what you think we've faced so far, Lonn.
Maybe just the worst matchup for us to get going in a rhythm again. But at the same time, hey, they've allowed almost 4 rushing yards per game. Per carry on average, 143 per game. They put up they allow yards, it seems more, but then they're so hard to see in South Carolina. And that front, man, 88 pressures, 14 sacks, 29 TFLs. All three, numbers at least comparable to LSU, 88 pressures to our 90, but then they outdo us in TFLs and sacks by 3 in each category. It's Dylan Stewart, man. You just got to worry about Nuss and the lack of mobility and the guys that are going to be coming for him.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I mean, it's like such a consequential game. It almost feels like the future of the program for the next several years hangs in the balance of this game. Not to be overly dramatic, but if Nuss isn't it, and Nuss looks like he did against Ole Miss, and Van Buren isn't in the game, and they just ride Nuss the whole time, to me, it all just comes crashing down. But we'll see Saturday.
If you keep giving South Carolina and that Sellers offense the ball back, I think they will figure it out eventually against this defense. They will. Our defense will get worn down at some point. Our secondary is incredible, but I think they're not going to be tested all that much. Just 4 receiving touchdowns for their entire receiving core. I mean, really, actually, their entire offense. Just 4 receiving touchdowns. Lenore Sellers, you keep giving him one possession after another because our offense can't do anything. They're going to figure something out.
Yeah. Yeah, I put myself through the misery. I don't know why I did this today of rewatching the LSU Ole Miss game. And I have no idea if I feel better or if I feel worse about our chances moving forward. I'm really just more befuddled than I was the first time I watched that game. So because Nussmeier was worse than I remembered, even from the first play of the game. So I don't know what to feel. I'm a lost soul wandering through a desert of LSU football right now, and stumbling upon Saturday, hoping for the best but prepared for the worst.
Right.
We don't even know who's going to be on the offensive line. I mean, there's a few injuries there. There's a talk of keeping Carius Kern at right tackle, and then who's going to play at left guard. There could be some shuffling done. Maybe it energizes the offensive line. Maybe some of these changes help. This is just, I think if fans are expecting a smash mouth offensive performance, they're expecting a little too much against this opponent. This might be a game where you're going to be lucky to survive. This is going to be I think maybe a bloodbath.
Yeah. And then South Carolina seems very motivated about this game after last year's loss to us. Now, how much that matters, I don't know. Because also in our favor, it's Saturday night in Death Valley. So, motivation only works for the first quarter. Then you got to strap in and play football after that. So we'll see. I have no idea. I have no feel whatsoever. Thankfully, we don't have to make official predictions on this program until tomorrow. And I think I'm going to wait till the last possible second to make my prediction for the game.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's going to be
low. Chip, you with us tonight?
Yeah. I'm
I'm just quiet.
Yeah, I'm just listening. You're up, Lonn.
I hear you.
I think it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be close. Bloodbath, you mean by hard hitting, right?
Yeah,
Or do you mean like?
I think both of these defenses are really just they're gonna
Mhm.
destroy these offenses, have them locked up all game. I see a lot of hard hitting, a lot of just low scoring slugfest, and it might come down to special teams, which is where, guys, this is bad news for LSU.
That's what you
Vakari
want. Yeah.
Swain, 3 punt returns for a touchdown already in 5 games. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
206 punt return yards. LSU, kickoff return wise, you kind of don't worry so much with Aaron Burrell, but punt returns, that could be a
Yeah.
big
You don't
deal
know
for LSU in
that
this
stuff.
game.
Yeah. And people
Well,
don't know that they have one of the best defensive players in the country too on their team.
Talking about
What's his
Dylan
last?
Stewart.
Dylan Stewart. Yeah, he's a beast.
yep, 7 TFLs, 3.5 sacks already. That guy, I'm worried about him coming off the edge or stunting inside. Usually, stunting inside has been killing our offensive line. They don't know how to handle it. They like, man, we might need to really reshuffle with some of these freshmen because from what we've seen with the offensive line we've had out there, could it be worse?
No, I don't think it
No, you
can.
might. Yeah, give someone else a shot, man. See if they can go, like, just go block somebody. Doesn't matter
That's the
if
thing.
you. It doesn't even matter. You just need to just stand somebody up for Christ. Get in front of somebody, not get pushed back 2 yards.
Absolutely, Chip. I mean, that's the thing is it's like just get a hat on somebody and leverage for God's sake. Everyone's just like standing high and oh my God, like it's very simple, very basic aggression type stuff that it's like, where is the aggression on the offensive line? Where is like the pride in like whooping someone's ass as an offensive lineman?
I don't know.
It's
That's usually an offensive lineman's motto, right?
that hasn't been in the program for a couple of years. Even with some NFL players we had last year, it just seemed like whenever there's a proverbial fight, whenever with the Texas A&M game stands out in my mind last year, or what was the guy who's with the Bengals now, who picked the
Oh God.
fight in warm-ups last year, and when the game actually started and he was the aggressor, we tended to back down, and those guys were all NFL players, and we were
Yep.
backing down when it got tough, and there is no there's a lack of aggression on the offensive line. And it almost, to me, like you see Carius Kern come in and he's the guy who has the most, who shows the most of it in his first start on the field. So to me, it's like it's almost coached out of them the more that they play. And I saw the same thing with Emory Jones. When Emory Jones was thrown in as a freshman in 2022, he was always mixing it up. He was always sprinting 20 yards
Yes.
down the field to get a piece of somebody, jumping on a pile. But then you
Yes.
saw less and less of that over his 3 years at LSU. And
Hell of a point.
it's almost like it's coached out of them, in that there was an old coaching saying from old O-line coaches, there's no you can't be passive in pass blocking. Because if you pass block too much, it can create a passive O-line. And so you have to create
Yes.
aggression. You never curb aggression as an O-line coach. You always encourage it, and even in pass blocking situations. And it is almost like every step along the way, it seems to be the aggression has been coached out of these guys. That it's too much about the technical or the tactical, as Brian Kelly likes to say, that drives me insane. Uh, and
100%.
just go beat somebody's ass, man. Put your Rydell on their chin and move your fucking feet and move the line of scrimmage. And that's all you got to do sometimes. Just get, like y'all said, the Chip set reminds me of my coaching days. We'd have wide receiver coaches. Chip's a former wide receiver. And so for those of y'all who don't know, I used to coach high school offensive line. And so it was always a trigger to me when a wide receiver coach would scream at my O lineman, just get in front of him. Just get in front of them, just get in their way. And in my mind, I'm like, there's a lot more that goes into it than just getting in front of them. You got to move your feet. You got to work your hands. But there is some truth in that just fucking put your Rydell on their chin and just drive your feet and move the line of scrimmage, and everything else takes care of itself. So I'm echoing what you're saying, Chip, my long ass explanation to that.
No,
Yeah,
man, that was perfect.
Yeah, I know there's a big difference in just an O-line getting in front of than a wide receiver, obviously. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're coach technically good though. That's the thing.
We're not.
This isn't a on LSU right now, so we could do that a lot for a little while, I think.
Well,
But hey, you know what? Maybe we play great this week. You know, maybe we come out and you know what this game reminds me of. I'm gonna go to a former game. Sorry to. You know who Lenore Seller reminds me of that everybody has probably completely forgotten in Georgia. My gosh, what was his name? Baseball player.
DJ
98.
Shockley?
No, 98.
Oh,
99,
Quincy Carter?
Quincy Carter. He reminds me a lot.
Quincy Carter.
He's not as good as Lonn.
Wow.
So that's
He
Yeah.
beat LSU.
That's
So
a
did
good
Tim
segue
Couch.
here. Well, that's
Tim Couch in 98. So did Damian Craig in 98. I don't remember who the quarterback for Alabama was in 98, but they beat us as well.
That's a good segue to this
Right.
program because we're playing Saturday night in Death Valley, and we've talked about LSU's offensive struggles for 2 straight weeks here. I decided let's do something a little bit different and talk about old tales from Saturday, some of our favorite Saturday nights in Death Valley. That Georgia game in 98 was a hell of a game. We lost, didn't Rondale Mealy chip, correct me if I'm wrong. Rondale, we were driving and it was 4th down, or we could have kicked a field goal or something happened, but Rondale Mealy dropped a swing pass out of the backfield that was wide open, and that was the difference in the game.
He had roll out,
or was that Auburn?
Roll out to no, that was it. It was Kipps and Mealy out the backfield, and they threw it to Mealy. They both were wide open, and he just dropped it. I don't think he ever dropped a pass.
Yeah. And we ended up
losing.
Rondale
Big game.
Mealy, man.
It was 7 versus 10. Yeah,
it was a top 10 matchup.
We actually beat Auburn that year. We beat them, I think, 38 to.
No, we lost.
We beat Auburn that year. I think they had a.
No, Chip's right. That was an away game we won against Auburn in 98.
Yeah, we recovered like 2 fumbles at the beginning.
Steve Zombie, you're thinking about 97 LSU Auburn where Cecil Collins ran all over the field.
Okay. They won
Cecil.
at Jordan Hare. LSU won 31-19.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lost to Florida, lost to Georgia the week before that, lost to Kentucky, which would have been Tim Couch.
Yes.
And then beat Mississippi State. I love Tom. I think Thomas Dunson's I think he's a coach, linebackers coach at Houston. So back on these Donardo teams in the late 90s, they had a linebacker, Thomas Dunson, Dunson, I believe. And it was either a spring game or in practice or whatever. And he intercepts a pass and he runs it back for a touchdown. But like doing a practice, not a live scrimmage or anything like that. And Donardo's like, "What the hell are you doing? Where are you going?" "Taking it to the house, coach." So we were in love with Thomas Dunson, and we would always scream that, during football games, "Taking it to the house, coach."
Thomas Dunson went down as one of the worst LSU linebackers in the history of the program, thanks to Lou Tepper, though, because
he was a drop linebacker. It was such an old school defense at the time.
Yeah,
we might be spoiled, but it's going to take 3 years for my defense, to really get good, is what Tepper said. Gone after the first year.
Yeah, he was gone after one before too. Lou Tepper, head coach of Illinois. Yep.
He wrote a book called Complete Linebacking by Lou Tepper, and it was a bestseller in coaching circles, but it became a joke in Baton Rouge after 98 because in 97, Carl Reese was the defensive coordinator who brought back the Chinese bandits, or the bandits, as we should say, the proper nomenclature.
Proper nomenclature, dude.
Rest in peace, Carl Reese. He died like a week and a half ago.
Rest in peace, Carl Reese. So Reese went on to be Mac Brown's defensive coordinator at Texas.
Okay.
And so DiNardo had to replace Carl Reese. He replaces him with Lou Tepper. Lou Tepper's defense is terrible. And then in 98, we go 4-7. DiNardo stubbornly keeps Lou Tepper despite all the criticism of Lou Tepper's defense not fitting the SEC in that style of play. And then the defense is even worse in 99. They go 3-8. DiNardo's fired before the last game of the season, but Thomas Dunson unfortunately played that linebacking position. That was the
drop linebacker.
The drop linebacker position. That was basically the center of all hatred of LSU fandom. So still to this day on Tiger Droppings, when they talk about the worst defensive players all time at LSU, Thomas Dunson's name gets dropped a lot, unfortunately.
But he took it to the house in that practice.
He took it to the house.
He also drank a lot and did a lot of drugs, like a true linebacker.
Pretty sure he got kicked off the
Allegedly, somebody else said, but like, here's the legal document that, allegedly somebody told us.
Allegedly, I need to say
I don't know anything for true. Yeah, for sure. But
that makes me like him.
Didn't he get cut when Saban showed up too?
I think he got ran off.
Yeah, I think Saban ran him off the team in 2002.
Well, I mean,
so not a good end to this story that Zombie Bob started.
I mean, you had three really good linebackers, though. You had Jeremy Lawrence, Trev Falk, and Brady James.
Brady James. Yeah. Well, before we get into players that we hate, the old man hated.
I love Brady.
I'm about to tease Zombie Bob up for one here. Okay. Brady James is going to be a guest captain this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So speaking of players that the old man hated for no reason, well, Gabe in the chat says, I had a good feeling about this game, but Lonn has me worried now.
Sorry, Gabe.
We were feeling good about Ole Miss.
Yeah. Don't listen to us. We all predicted us to beat Ole Miss.
This might not be a bad thing.
All right, Thomas Dunson in 99 was inside linebacker as a sophomore, number 52.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what he was.
Zombie Bob, let's go back to 1995. Okay, Jerry DiNardo gets the job. He brings back the white jerseys. Okay, for home games. He brings back the Magic. We lose the opening game of the season, which was okay because Texas A&M was ranked number 4 or they were top 5 at the time. And so we lose that game at Texas A&M. Week 2, we go to Mississippi State. We win at Mississippi State. Kevin Falk's the true freshman. It's kind of his coming out party. Home game, first home game of the season's against a top 10 Auburn team. Zombie Bob, who makes the game-winning interception?
Not only top 10, they were ranked 5th in the country at that point.
Game-winning
interception, 4th and 3. Auburn driving into the north end zone, and right there in front of us, Troy Twilley. Wasn't he number 15?
Yes, number 15.
Yeah, 15 comes down with the interception on 4th and 3 to seal the deal and a 12-6 Tiger upset in the Bring Back the Magic game.
Why did our old man not like Troy Twilley?
Nobody knows that. Was there any rhyme or reason for the old man? No,
for some reason, Lonn, our old man hated Troy Twilley for no reason. And this guy had like the biggest play in Tiger Stadium that was probably the biggest play since the earthquake game. So in 7 years, he seals the biggest win since '88 Auburn, and the old man wouldn't even give him credit.
He's like, fuck Troy Twilley.
Yeah, no, 100%. It made no sense, Lonn. It just, But he didn't like Trev Falk either.
No, he didn't like Brady James.
Brady James.
Yeah, he didn't like. He liked Trev Falk. He didn't like Brady James. He didn't like Rohan Davey.
No, he liked Rohan.
No, he liked Rohan.
Yeah, he liked Rohan Davey.
Are you sure?
But Ron, let me tell you a backstory about the 95 Auburn game. I think last time you mentioned that you have older brothers, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I am the oldest of, the old man's 5 kids. So as the oldest, you got to do it first. I mean, I was like 7 or 8 years old, pushing a lawnmower at my grandparents' house while my grandfather smoked a cigarette and drank a bottle of wine on the carport. And I'm pushing like a 200-pound, 8,000 horsepower lawnmower, right? So, like, when it came to set up the Sunday dinner table, get the chairs, do this, do that, as the oldest grandson, as the oldest, son and oldest grandson. So you do all that, and you do that until the next one comes along, and then the torch gets passed and all that. But because of the discrepancy in age between Daniel and I, well, we had the same father, but we really didn't, because the old man had mellowed to the extent that he could mellow. He had mellowed, all that time later. And I used to have such street cred because in 1985, I stayed at the LSU Miami of Ohio game in the rain, and LSU lost. So that was my street cred and my the authenticity, that I get dibs on tickets. Well, I should have been getting dibs on tickets because I was the oldest son, and Daniel's 20 years younger than I am. And for that 95 Auburn game, my old man just wouldn't pull the trigger and say, well, you got to talk to Daniel about that ticket. And I'm like, I got to talk to who? Who do I have to talk to? Because how old were you in 95, Daniel?
I would have been 9 years old at going in.
I would have been 29. And you think at 9 years old, I had any say in anything in my life when it came to my old man, especially with LSU tickets. So then the old man sets it up with Daniel's grandfather on his mom's side, and we're going to get a ticket from Grandy for Daniel, and then I'm going to get Daniel's ticket in the box in the north end zone where we had, and of course, long before cell phones and everything. So we're in the south end zone under the stadium looking for Grandy. Grandy's at gate 8, and we're at gate 9. I don't know if those aren't the right numbers, but like we're a whole section away. Well, then we missed the pregame show, we missed the band, we missed everything. By the time everybody went to their seats, well, then there's Grandy, there's us, and like the old man was furious. He was mad at me, and I'm like, this is my ticket. A, I was at Miami of Ohio, and Daniel wasn't even born yet. B, I'm the oldest male. Like, why am I competing with a 9-year-old for tickets here? So that's that and the Troy Twilley interception, the only 2 things I remember really about that game.
I do remember waiting outside of gate 2. It was gate 2 at the time. Waiting outside of gate 2 for like an hour and a half. And Grandy was literally 30 yards away from us the entire time. But that was before cell phones, and like meet outside of gate 2, and there's 10,000 people, and you're trying to find one person in this crowd of humanity. But I don't remember that you had to ask me for the tickets. I don't really remember that, but I guess
he was playing this
he saw the passion.
Like, it's really technically Daniel's ticket. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, seriously, are you kidding me?
Oh, my God.
Towards the end, I should have reminded him of that story.
Yeah, maybe I was always the chosen one, Steve. I mean,
oh, my God. Just, crazy.
Well, tell us about 1982 Florida State, since you're going to go in the Wayback Machine here. 1982 Florida State.
Okay, I will, but I don't want to get off of the 2000 Tigers roster. I was looking for Dunson on that one, but they only have an abbreviated roster. Do you know that LSU, Nick Saban had Jimbo Fisher, he had Derek Dooley as the tight ends coach, Pete Jenkins as the D-line, Mel Tucker, late of Michigan State, and he had Adam Gase as a graduate assistant who would go on to become the head coach of the Dolphins and the Jets.
Yeah, I knew that.
Crazy?
Yeah, Will Muschamp too.
Crazy.
Well, yeah, I don't know if Muschamp was on the staff year 1. I think Muschamp came on the next year.
And you know who else was on the staff?
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart was on the staff.
Yes.
But that was a couple years later for Kirby. And Kirby Smart was a couple years later.
Yeah.
And didn't he only stay for like just one season, like 04 or 05?
He
Yeah,
might
I
have
It
think
was
he
did
was.
04.
Might have did
I think
04.
Kirby Smart was the last year. I think.
Still crazy coaching lineage, right? Like coaching tree.
Yeah, I think Muschamp might not have been on the staff in 2000. I think he was 2001 was his first
No,
year
in
because he
definitely was
2001,
on-
he was linebackers.
Okay. Who was the
because
linebacker?
Gary Gibbs was the original defensive coordinator his first
Yeah,
year.
Gary Gibbs, look at them.
Yeah, because there was a
that's the
famous
thing,
falling
Ron.
out between.
I can tell you about my aggravation for a ticket in '95, for the Auburn game. These two knuckleheads. Oh yeah. Well, that's the first year Muschamp was on there, and then this and that. Gary Gibbs was the defensive coordinator his first year. Yeah, I'm looking at Wikipedia right here. I'm like, oh yeah, wow, look at
Who
that.
was the? Who
There's
was
certain
the?
things I can pull out of my ass, certain things I can't, and these two get my
There was
Zombie
a
Bob.
there was a pretty big time famous line coach too. His son played for Florida State. What was his name? Made out with
Was it Rick Trickett
Trickett. Yeah, I think it was pretty big time, wasn't he?
or was it Stacy Searles that year? Because it went
No,
from Rick Trickett to
Trickett
Stacy
was there one
Searles.
year. I can't remember. I just know his
Steve?
kid made out with what's her name? Remember when he was the starter for
allegedly somebody said, oh, you
Yeah.
heard on the bathroom stall. Right.
11 national titles between those three coaches, and LSU only got one of them. Hey, Gabe, I hear you, but Les Miles got one, and Ed Orgeron got one too. So,
right. Who played guard on the 2001 LSU Tigers? Daniel?
Florida's run game coordinator, Rob Sale.
Rob Sam. Now Chip. You know who he made out with?
Yeah, we're not going there. Yeah.
Oh, that shouldn't have said out loud.
Yeah, we're not going there.
Dun, dun, dun.
Line. Thanks for putting up with this bullshit and falling off the wheels, and we're just like telling inside jokes and shit.
Zombie Bob,
It's all good.
I'm going to ask you a very simple question about that Auburn 1995 game.
Okay.
Who was Auburn's quarterback?
Nix.
There you go.
Pat
Okay.
Nix. Bo Nix's dad, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Dude.
There was a big
wow.
one because I'm sure you've heard about it.
Pat Nix, right?
Yeah, it was. It was Nick's. And then Jamie Howard had threw like 3 picks to lose the game against Auburn the year before.
Yeah,
I think it was like 5. I think it was actually 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was 3 for
6
touchdowns.
in the
at the very end of the game. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I remember watching that at my cousin's house, being like, "What the hell?"
All right, so Daniel at 95, and the old man loved this kid. Who caught the only touchdown pass for LSU?
Oh, that's easy.
Shedrick Wilson?
No, tight end. Number 12.
Nicky Savoy.
There we go.
Nicky Savoy was number 11.
Yeah,
he wasn't.
So LSU scored all 12 points in the first quarter, and then just sweated it out all the way, literally, to the last play of the game.
Yeah, Savoy was a reformed quarterback.
Played for the Saints.
And then he got drafted by in the 6th round. Got drafted by Ditka, because Ditka was only going for guys that he could be in a foxhole with. That's the kind of player he wanted.
There you go.
Well,
and that's why I drafted Ricky Williams.
Well, that was just stupid.
All right,
that
so
crazy.
Zombie, tell us about 1982 Florida State.
All right, so Lonn, like Daniel and I brothers had the same dad. We both had an impoverished childhood. I teased Daniel that I have run away from my impoverished childhood, whereas he has totally embraced his and won't pay, full sticker price for any bag of bread on the grocery shelf or, a box of pasta, whatever. He wants the discount dented can, whereas I'm like not even touching any of that, right? So I'm telling you that because I probably didn't even know. I know that I didn't know. Like the old man probably never said anything to me about that LSU Florida State game in '82. Like, hey, if LSU wins, they're going to the Orange Bowl. and so we should bring some oranges to throw on the field like everybody else in the stadium. No, he never said that. We probably didn't have money for oranges. The only thing that we would eat for tailgating to this day, my favorite thing to tailgate with is not anything on a Blackstone, not anything on a barbecue pit, not anything out of a deep fryer or whatever. It's a ham and cheese sandwich, only mayo on a hamburger bun, because that's all the old man had money for. And he'd make what's an 8 pack of hamburger buns. He'd make 8 sandwiches, wrap them back up in the same bag, and that's what we had when we tailgated. So there was no extra money for oranges. So like I was just like mesmerized, right? So I was a sophomore in high school, didn't know what was at stake, didn't know that we should have been packing, oranges and everything. And this is the only time I've ever seen it. So I mean, it had to have been staged, championship wrestling or whatever. But Florida State, I'm assuming it was their mascot, or maybe LSU brought in a horse and an Indian, right? So all of a sudden, after the band's off the field, in the north end zone, in the corner, by the student section right there, well, there's all of a sudden on the field, there's a horse with an Indian on it, right? And he's got the spear and everything. And I'm almost positive it was on fire, like it was lit. And he plants it into like the 20-yard line, the 15-yard line in that north, west corner right there of Tiger Stadium. And I'm like, holy cow, like I'd never seen anything like that. I don't know if LSU had ever done anything like that previously, like a pregame, whatever. And but it was like championship wrestling, because here comes Mike the Tiger, and he comes out, and then they circle. There were no atomic elbows thrown, but Mike the Tiger emerged victorious over the Seminole, and like the place is going crazy. And sophomore in high school, Zombie Bob is like, oh my God, this is the greatest moment, of my young life. And then the game starts, right? Well, I mean, we'll see. I have my notes. What was the final? 55-21. Dalton Hilliard, because it was the Dalton Hilliard,
Wow.
Gary James duo. They were freshmen, and so they just were referred to as the Dalton James gang. Dalton Hilliard scored his 15th and 16th touchdowns of the season. The 16th breaking Herschel Walker's freshman record for the SEC touchdowns by a freshman. And
it was an NCAA record.
Was it really?
Yeah, not
Okay.
even an
Wow.
SEC record.
So like
Dalton
Dalton
Hilliard.
Hilliard went off 183 yards, 4 touchdowns. Gary James had, I don't know, like 120, 116, something like that. Eric Martin had a 70-yard touchdown reception. I mean, and it just rained oranges, Lonn. Like, just because we always had tickets in the north end zone with the old man. So, like, we'd move around the north end zone from corner to corner, but we were always in the north end zone. Like, I don't think I ever saw a game from anywhere with my dad other than the north end zone in Tiger Stadium.
Hell yes.
But, like, it would just rain oranges every time, like when they came on the field, when they scored. And like I just remember the grounds crew piling up, like they had to come sweep them out of the end zone into the corner by the gate, by the small fence, just to clear the field every single time. And it was all night long. It just rained. I mean, 55-21, it rained oranges. And then late in the game, a fog rolled in. And then it was
That's
that
awesome.
Florida State was like driving late in the game, and it's like honestly they were going towards the north end. It was hard to see, and then LSU held them out and all. And I know that I went home with oranges. I don't think I went on the field, but like I picked up one of the big plastic cups from concessions and grabbed oranges, maybe off the field, like out of the end zone or right down by the stands or whatever, and brought them home. Like, what the hell are you gonna do with busted up oranges? Like not even a week later, my grandmother's like, "The hell are you doing? Is this a science project?" I'm like, no, it's from the LSU game. Like, what are you doing? Like, either freeze it or throw it out. So they got thrown out. But like from the pregame of that tussle between Tiger, Mike the Tiger and the Seminole, and then just the oranges were just. To this day, I've never seen anything like that. Like, have you guys been to a game where they threw I mean, you can't throw roses. We've never been to Rose Bowl. You're not
You
throwing
can't
bags of
throw
sugar.
sugar packets. Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, So I don't even. Can you get in with a bag of oranges these days? Probably not.
Probably not, because they'd probably be selling them for $5 a pop now.
Well, 10
I
probably. But I
thought
mean,
I
when
thought
we had
they used to have them. I know when other teams made the Orange Bowl, they would have them out front of the stadium. Now I don't know.
Chip, the old man didn't have money. God bless him. But we ain't doing that. We ain't getting all the oranges like everybody else. You can just pick them up off the floor and throw them if you wanna. That's probably what he said, or would have said.
Did they
Yeah.
rain oranges down on the Florida State mascot on his horse? Because that would be hilarious.
I would think so, but I don't really remember oranges at that point in the game. It was more just like I was just mesmerized. I was just like, holy shit. Because like I said, that's the only time I've ever seen something like that. I mean, like if you had a mascot, like if you had, I've never seen it, but like if you had the Green Wave guy versus Mike the Tiger and they tussled, all right, whatever. But like this was a real horse with an Indian, with the spear on fire, planting it in Tiger Stadium's turf, and it was just that was an amazing game, an amazing
Well,
experience for me.
that was at a time when not every single thing was scripted and full of it. Like those two mascots could have actually been like, "I'm gonna kick your ass," and like actually duke it out. I could see it happening in 1982, like for
Yeah.
real.
I remember
Nowadays,
that
of course,
happened. Yeah, I remember that happening in the early 90s. The Bulldog from Mississippi State would come over, and him and Mike the Tiger would wrestle, and the Bulldog would hit Mike the Tiger with a bone over the head. Like, I remember being 8 years old, thinking that was the coolest thing in the world. So it probably really was. The Florida State mascot, if you didn't know this, is known as Chief Osceola, and he
Okay.
does ride a horse. So that probably was their mascot. It probably wasn't staged
oh
by
yeah,
LSU.
Okay.
Rides a beautiful.
Yeah. So
jockey.
like he came. I mean, so think of the balls of that. Like come in and have a lit spear and plant it in essentially in front of the student section and on the field.
Because
So
that's what Florida State does. They do it on the midfield logo at the beginning of the
right.
game. Chief
Right.
Osceola runs out and plants his
throws it.
fiery spear on the 50-yard line. So he probably
That
did
is
it right in front of the
epic.
student section.
Yeah, we lost to Tulane the next week, by the way.
We lost the week before to Mississippi State. So
Yeah.
that win was sandwiched in between two not so good losses.
Well, the funny thing about the loss to Tulane, because I was looking that up. So in 1973, LSU was Orange Bowl bound. Tulane beat them that year, snapping a 25-year losing streak. So then the next time that LSU was Orange Bowl bound in 1982, Tulane beat them 31-28 at Tiger Stadium the week after the Florida State game.
Yeah, Darwin played for that Tulane team. Those two.
Yeah, friend of the family, Darwin Willie caught the touchdown pass, or they won in 73. Tulane won 14-0. Darwin Willie caught one of the touchdown passes. Tight end for Tulane, who's a friend of the family, who when I was in high school used to always talk down on. He used to refer to him as, "Oh, your little Tigers," and I was like, "Tulane's nothing." He's like, when I was there. He's like, I beat LSU, so I can talk shit any year. Darwin, one of the nicest human beings around.
It's true. It's true. Like he did it.
14-0. Yeah.
So Lineup LeBlanc wants to know if Chip is a brother too. Chip is an adopted brother, essentially, of the family. Chip was the first one with the balls to do an impersonation of our old man.
Yes.
And it was so good that then I put Chip on the spot in front of the old man to do it. And the first time Chip stuttered his way through it, but then eventually did it. So no, Chip's a high school friend of mine.
Yep, met.
But because you never knew with the old man, Lonn. That was the thing. Like sometimes you think everything, he'd be in a good mood, and he was like mad at the universe and, you know, hell to pay for everyone. And then other times you were expecting that wrath, and oh yeah, you know, okay, no biggie, you know, whatever. So it's always
Always
that.
really nice to me though. He was never a dickhead to me. Ever.
He liked
Well,
you.
yeah, it's because you buy. That's why, because you bought him Whoppers. Hey, Chip, you got that for me, huh?
Yeah. We were talking about that last night, Daniel and I.
Right.
So,
That's
Lon, yesterday would have been our old man's 78th birthday.
Wow.
So we were telling old man stories yesterday, and that's part of the inspiration of this episode. You know, Wright Thompson. I love Wright Thompson, former writer. Well, I don't know who he works for now, but worked for ESPN forever as a writer. But he did a video one time. He went to Missouri, but he grew up an Ole Miss
Big
fan.
Ole Miss fan, yeah.
Yeah, and he did a video one time, I think it was like 10 years ago, when Ole Miss and Mississippi State had that really good season out of the middle of nowhere, about how, you know, he tries to describe it to people who aren't from the South, that going to an Ole Miss football game is more than just a party, that it's a way that you visit old family members that are no longer with you, that you go back. And I feel the same way. You go back to Tiger Stadium. We'll be there
I love
Saturday.
that.
And Lon, we've told you this off air. I don't know if we said this on air before, but where our dad's seats were is now where the play clock is. Those seats no longer exist. It is in sometime in the early 2000s, they removed those seats, and it is now the play clock in the north end zone. So every time I look at the play clock in the north end zone, I think about the old man, and he's been gone 20 years now, but that's a way for me. You know, it's more than just Tiger Stadium, LSU football. It's bigger than the game. There's so much more that goes into it. And Wright Thompson nailed it when he said, for SEC fans, it's, you go back, oh, those were where my grandpa's seats were. I know exactly
Yes.
where my grandfather's seats were in the south end zone. You know, my uncle has those seats now. I know exactly where my dad's seats were. When I sit in that section, it brings me back. Ask Zombie Bob to this day, what's the one section, if Zombie Bob could sit anywhere in the stadium, where are you sitting?
North end zone.
Which
That's
section in particular, Steve?
now you put me on a spot. Is it 206?
216. Come on.
216. Whatever.
It's been a couple years since he sat in 216.
Whatever.
We used to have those tickets.
Now,
Lon,
That's
I will tell
awesome.
you this one. We went, my brother Rocky and I went to the LSU Wisconsin game in Lambeau Field in 2016. But when we had tickets, the last tickets we had in the north end zone before Daniel got all of his in the south end zone, we were on the concourse. So the portal above where the team comes out, we were like up against that wall. So we had seats 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it was probably reverse order, but right up against there. So then the concourse, and then there was the step down, and that last row, there was a family, and it was like 5 or 6 people. But like, you could never, I mean, for years they sat in front of us, and you couldn't tell if it was the husband or the father. Like, there was an older guy, and like the oldest female, like you couldn't quite, we knew who her daughter was, but we couldn't quite place, like, is that the wife and the daughter, or like the daughter and granddaughter? Like, it was the weirdest thing. But I mentioned the Wisconsin game, so we're way up on the 50-yard line, but like way up in Lambeau Field, my brother and I, and this woman walks by, and it's either the wife or the daughter of the old guy that sits in front of me. So jackass that I am, I jump up and I grab her by the elbow, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I said, I don't know your name, but this is where you sit in Tiger Stadium. I have the 4 seats right across the concourse, essentially the next row. You're the last row, I'm the first row. I'm like, I just had to tell you hello. And she's like, oh my God, like, I can't believe you recognize me. And I lean in, I'm like, I'd recognize that ass anywhere. She ate it up. She absolutely loved it. Still don't know if that was the daughter or the wife, but
it's the wife. Whatever. It's the wife. I talked to the daughter once because the daughter was her daughter was smoking.
Okay. So that was the wife, but her husband was much older. He was an older guy.
Yeah. Nice guy, though. Super nice.
Yeah. But like, exactly to Daniel's point, you know where Yeah, like so many memories on the field, so many memories in the stands. You know where you were, at any given moment in Tiger Stadium history, for any of these games. Uh, who you were with, where you were. When Matt Flynn cost us the 2007 Arkansas game because he was terrible. Like I know exactly where we were and everything. Probably the worst fifth year quarterback for LSU until
Black
until
Friday. It was a Black Friday that day.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
actually,
remember.
we lived at the time in my previous life, we lived in New York on Long Island. And I would come in for Thanksgiving with my family to visit my family here in New Orleans every other Thanksgiving. And my sister, actually Daniel's other sister, one year said, "You only come in when there's an LSU home game on Friday?" I'm like, "Yeah, like, why do you think I'm coming? To eat your Thanksgiving turkey? No, like, not at all. Is to go to LSU football on Friday."
Uh,
Zombie Bob.
Jack Golf in the chat says Chip is the best brother. He was probably definitely the old man's favorite. That's for sure.
Who's Jack Golf?
I don't know, but shout out Jack Golf.
No, Jack Golf. Jack
Jack
Golf. No,
Golf.
Jack,
Golf?
the best brother.
Jack off.
I just got it. Jack Golf.
Oh, that's Chip.
Respect
Chip
that
is
name,
on the
Jack.
chat.
Yeah, that's Chip's name. He put it on there himself.
Oh, I didn't put it on there. I swear to God,
It's
it's
Jack Golf's.
Yeah.
That's why they never tear down the SEC stadiums. They never they do some renovations and some additions, but a lot of these same stadiums have been there for however long. It's insane. And they're never going to do it probably for some of them.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
my grandfather had it was Zombie, you're gonna have to help me out on this. What is it when you took pictures way back in the day in the 50s, the 40s, and you had the Rolodex slideshow thing? That you would put the picture,
yeah.
the little, what do you call those
slide
things?
projector? I don't know.
Yeah, slide projector with the little
Yeah.
bitty pictures that are like
and
an
you just
inch
pop
by
them
an
in,
inch,
click, 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 click. Yeah.
and you put them on a projector and it goes around the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing
So-
Griswold. What's in the Griswold Christmas Vacation when he falls through the attic? He's watching one. What do they call those things?
Not
Yeah.
like the one where you're watching it where you're cranking it, but it's like a
Yeah,
picture. It's one picture at a time, a slideshow.
Yeah. Slide
Okay.
projector.
Yeah, slide projector. So my grandfather on my mother's side, me and Zombie actually have different moms. My grandfather.
I don't have a mom.
I had inside joke. He threw me off with that one. But anyway, well, my grandfather had slides from literally like 1952 LSU versus Tennessee, and he took pictures in Tiger Stadium before there was a south end zone. Before it was literally just bleachers in the
I've never
south
heard
end
this
zone.
story.
Yeah,
You still have those?
no, because he lost them in the flood of 2016.
Right.
Yeah, he had them up until the flood of 2016, but they were crystal clear, and it was Tennessee because it was orange jerseys, white helmets, white pants, and he took them from the last row of the west sides of the stadium. There was just the north end zone, no upper decks, not even the south end zone existed at the time. And I was like, I've never seen pictures like this where it was, I mean, relatively clear because it was a colored picture, and it was LSU versus Tennessee with no south end zone. And he had like a slide of 100 of those pictures.
There's an article I put out last year that was like for the 100th anniversary of Tiger Stadium. And I went in deep. Obviously, I've been on the field down there. I've gone through, but I have obviously not even close to the history of you guys have had there. So I really was like, if I'm going to write this thing, I really need to do deep dives, talk to people like you guys who've had a lot of experiences there, much more than I have. And it was crazy. I got in that article, I have a photo of that, of when, Death Valley looks it looks so strange with those bleachers. Like it almost looks incomplete for some weird reason. And I've got photos in that article of like kind of the construction all along the way, of how it looked every step of the way. And I had to deep dive for some of these photos. I had to ask LSU for a few of these photos. So I'm not sure how, widespread some of them are, but you brought it back to my mind. It's crazy how the stadium has evolved, but it is perfect right now. And I don't want them to do anything more except for, spice it up, add some pizzazz here and there,
Yeah.
But maybe have Governor Landry come in on a cage and on a leash and,
He could bring Omar Bradley, the Tiger, with him.
Oh gosh, that was an embarrassment, huh? But I remember, Lonn, last week you had said it's something that might not soon leave me. LSU is probably the funnest. I have no regrets. I'm so blessed to be an LSU fan because you have gone through literally within a week. We'll say that you lose to Arkansas. You walk out of the stadium. I walk out and walk all the way back to my house on Brightside, just walk because I was so pissed off after the Arkansas 2007 game. And a week later, you're number 8 and you're playing Tennessee and you make the national championship game. I mean, that's only you could write a story like that. And then win it. And then, it's cool. And then you lose a game in New Orleans to Alabama where you don't get it past the 50-yard line. It's just the
Yep.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Me neither. That 2007 season, oh my God. I mean, you're like, Chase Daniel, you bastard, lose. Like,
yeah,
just screaming at the TV how many of these teams could lose. And I'm thinking, even if all these teams lose, there's still no way. But then I'm thinking, wait a minute. Actually, yes, there is. Like, the BCS isn't going to put a one-loss Kansas or a one-loss Mizzou over us, or screw those teams. We're going to get in against a really weak Ohio State team, and we're going to beat their ass. And my uncle, Ohio State alum, I was like, we're coming for you. And he's like, you guys aren't going to get into the game. You have 2 losses. And I was like, oh, yeah? Fuck you. And guess what? fuck him. Because we got into that game and dominated their ass.
Yeah, thank God for LaShawn McCoy for Pitt. Shady McCoy.
Yes.
Running all
he
over
went off.
11-1 West Virginia team. They had
yes.
Who ended up killing Oklahoma.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Chip, yes. Wasn't that the Steve Slayton era?
Yeah, Steve Slayton. Who was the quarterback? He originally committed
Pat White.
LSU. Yeah, Pat
White.
White.
Pat White. I can't believe that West Virginia team didn't win a championship.
And then there was, I believe, was Chris, who's the guy who passed away, wide receiver for the Bengals, Chris. His wife hit him with the car. What was his name? From New Orleans. His son's now like a big-time wide receiver that's going to LA.
You told me this the other day, and I don't remember his name.
He was a pretty good. He played for the Bengals. I mean, he was a he's from New Orleans. His son's going to Ohio State next year. I think top, or maybe that was last year. I can't remember. But he was a huge player. And then there was another running back, and I can't remember the name. He was a scat back for him. Noel Devine.
Noel Devine.
That's a name. Okay. Wow.
5-star. LSU had him. He couldn't make the grades, so LSU stopped talking to him, and then he went to West Virginia.
Yeah, Pat White was committed to LSU and Nick Saban, but Saban wanted him as a DB.
Yeah.
Never wanted him as a quarterback. So then West Virginia came in and offered him as a quarterback at the last minute. And I think he flipped on signing day from LSU to West Virginia.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember he flipped there late.
Well, Corey Webster was the wide receiver. And then Saban's like, no, you're going to be a defensive back.
Yeah, Marcus Spears was the tight end.
Yeah. LaRon Landry played quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but
Devery Henderson was a running back.
Linebacker.
Yeah. Like Jack Hunt was a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack Hunt was a wing back on an option team. That was crazy.
Yeah, Notre Dame and Crawley, right?
I thought Rustin, but I could be wrong.
I think Notre Dame and Crawley.
Well, while we're talking about high school athletes right now, shout out to Skittles and the St. Charles Catholic ninth grade team beat Destrehan for their first win of the season, 16-15, in a game almost as exciting as the 1995 Auburn LSU game, because the last play of the game was an interception for St. Charles Catholic to seal the first win of the season. So Skittles, Lonn, is my godson, who's the starting center for the ninth grade team at St. Charles Catholic. So nobody knows how the coach tagged him as Skittles, but that's his nickname. So
that is the most badass nickname.
I'll tell you what.
Seriously.
So we went to dinner with his grandfather, my stepdad, tonight after the game, and I told him, like, well, hey, we got to get home and from across the lake and get on to the podcast. And he's like, oh yeah, you and your brother are doing that. And I said, well, we're having Lonn Phillips Sullivan on tonight. He's like, oh yeah, LSU Odyssey. And I'm like, oh bam. So
really,
bam for you.
Wow.
And bam for my stepdad Jerry, shout out. So yeah, he knew exactly who you are.
Jerry, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
That means a lot, man. That's insane.
Yeah. It was pretty impressive for both of y'all.
Jerry, my man, thank you for checking us out or knowing of the existence.
Absolutely.
You're the man, Jerry.
Off guard. Yeah. So, but the reason that St. Charles Catholic picked up their first win of the season, the ninth grade team, is because my brother is out of town, so he wasn't at the game. Draw your own conclusions.
He is the curse.
Exactly.
One other housekeeping note, Zombie Bob, did we ever find out who got that care package from one of our sponsors?
No. Do I know this?
All right, we'll have to check back another week and see what we're talking about here.
I don't have a package. Angry Capri has the package?
No, we'll have to check back. I was just seeing if you had any updates on that.
No.
Lonn, we have an inside joke.
Lonn,
we have an inside joke about Crocs being one of our day one sponsors of the podcast, as an inside joke to our middle brother Dwayne. Although I don't know if we should have said Dwayne. Angry Capri might be mad. I might have said his real name on the show.
Yeah.
So
hey, Lonn,
he's got to wear the Crocs.
I got a question for Lonn. Is that all right if I ask it?
Yeah, go serious as me and Steve are joking.
I know. This is actually a serious and sad. I mean, if we don't want to talk about it, I understand. Have you had any updates on what was the last update you got on the Kyron Lacey thing? Have you done?
Oh man, you see the stuff that the Louisiana State Police had put out in response to what his defense attorney put out. And, I didn't go into it with Lacey's innocent. I don't even need to look at this. I looked at everything like, show me what you got. Because their whole stance was, this changes nothing. Lacey still caused the accident, and here's the proof. I didn't really see definitive proof that he caused the accident, that he was so far behind from, and he gets out of the lane almost 10 and a half seconds before her collision happens. It really, it just, I understand that the Louisiana State Police have a lot to lose if the Lacey's, pursue legal action against them, which they're almost have a duty to go and pursue legal action against them. So that's probably going to happen. They're going to do whatever it takes to make this case their way, that Kyron Lacey did this. But, and Matthew O'Reilly at the same time, he's got his own biases. He's got to prove that Lacey's innocent, so he's going to be defending his client. But we all heard a bunch of stuff when this began that seemed really airtight. And then when we saw what the defense attorney put out, and he put everything out, he didn't edit it like the police. What the police just put out was edited. What the defense attorney put out was not. It was a bombshell because we hadn't known these facts. The police didn't want you to know these facts. That really rings really loud and true to me is why were you keeping these facts from us that, maybe you could have said he was 76 yards behind the accident, but his reckless driving still caused it. They didn't argue that. They just said he caused the accident. He didn't get hit, but he caused it directly and then drove around the crash scene. It seems like anyone driving around a crash scene they happen upon, in the video.
Yeah.
It seems very crazy to me that the whole thing is bizarre. And every piece of footage you get, it seems like, okay, yeah, he's in a lane where there's no passing. He probably understands after a few seconds, oh shit, what am I doing? Safely actually gets back in the lane. He's not going at a crazy rate of speed like they continue to say. And then that, he just keeps moving along, and then you hear it like 10 seconds later. It's very. How did he get blamed for this? Is just such a mystifying question to me. How did he get blamed for this?
Right. Yeah, it seems like, and I'm a pro cop guy, but yeah, it just seems a little shady. But I'll leave it at that. I just wanted to hear what you had to say about it because it's relevant and sad situation all around, right?
Oh, it's terrible, and I just think here's where I think everyone can kind of find some common sense, common ground on. Wherever you stand on this, if you're going to try and make a case against someone who's driving a vehicle who did not have any direct contact with any of the vehicles, did not get hit by any of the vehicles, and you're trying to make a case that that person in that vehicle caused this accident, you have to have one hell of a case, and you have to make that case. It shouldn't be Lacey has to prove his innocence. He's already guilty. And that's kind of how it was he's already guilty. Boom. Lock him away and throw away the key. Jalen Carter killed people for Georgia. Henry Ruggs, these guys didn't get half of the online abuse and vitriol Kyron Lacey's way.
I agree.
I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm too pro Lacey on this, but I just feel that this young man wasn't heard out at all, and I feel like I let him down big time. I tried my best to do a show with him. I tried my best to get film or talk to Matthew O'Reilly, try and get something going. I was talking to his mom about getting something going, and then he took his own life. And then I was trying to get something going after that to kind of like his side still isn't told. I'm kind of a big proponent of we're hearing all of this side. We kind of need to hear this side. Let's have someone on. Let's platform someone and give them a shot here. I'll ask them the tough questions or whatever, but this side isn't being put out there. I really felt like that was important for Lacey with his case. I don't think they were really quite interested in it and felt uncomfortable because of the whole, we have the footage. We're going to win this case. We don't want to have anything disrupt this. I feel like that may have been a mistake. I feel like he needed to feel some type of win, some type of like people are listening to me at that crucial moment, that someone at least is out there trying to, maybe he would have seen a comment section full of hatred, but then he could have also seen half of it be full of like support, and maybe it would have helped him. Yeah. Who knows?
Absolutely.
I just wanted to shows the suicide.
Yeah, I hate to bring that up. I didn't think it would. I didn't know, but that's. I mean, it's a great take by you, and I agree with you. And it's just a sad situation all around, and embarrassing as of right now when it comes to the state police, to me. But yeah, I just wanted that. Sorry to put a damper on the night, guys. But
that's all good, brother. It absolutely is.
A shame. All right. Well, Daniel, it's about a quarter after the hour. We want to wrap it up tonight, or we want to?
Do you have any other?
I want to hear one. I need some after I started the sourness. I want to, or the sadness, I guess I should say. I want to hear one more story, quick story. 2009, Florida.
Ooh, Chip teed you up for that one. Not even me. Love
All right,
it.
Lon. This one, like my stories are short, but I'm gonna be quick. So it's 2009, right? So at the time, I had a favorite uncle who had never been to an LSU game, right? So then we had the tickets in the North End Zone, the four of them. So I secure one for me
At
coming
the
into New
time, had a
York.
favorite uncle. I'm sorry. At the time, had a favorite uncle.
All of my stories are based in truth. That's a true statement. So
No, it
at the
is a true
time,
statement.
yeah,
At the time, I had a favorite uncle.
yeah, now fuck
Meaning,
that motherfucker. But whatever. So then, all I wanted, Lon, was I had two of the four tickets to go to that game. So all I wanted was LSU to be undefeated to host Tim Tebow and Florida for that game, right? That's all I wanted so that we could tailgate, so that my uncle, who had never been to an LSU game, who had never tailgated at LSU, who actually had graduated from Tulane, I just wanted him to experience that, right? So if there was 100,000 people in the stadium that day, there were 200,000 on campus tailgating because it was number one Florida hosting undefeated and number three LSU. So it's like the matchup that I wanted. It rained that day, so it's like it was off and on raining the whole day, and but not bad, but just enough, right? But we had like 40 people tailgating, actually just kind of catty corner from where Daniel does now, and off of Highland and what's that side street, Daniel?
it's South Stadium.
South Stadium. So we had 40 people, four of us had tickets, right? And I mean, we had a gallon of oysters that we fried. We deep fried a turkey. We probably had, 20 pounds of catfish fillets. Like, perfect day, right? Just other than the weather, a tailgating, big game environment, the electricity in the air for the excitement. And I paced myself, because it was about being in the moment and making sure that my uncle experience all that. So then we go and we watch the band come down the hill and we go in gate 8, but like it's that scrum of everybody going into the gate all at one time after the band passes. Guy next to me as we going into the stadium, and he's like, "Hey, you want some of this?" And it's a Coke bottle, right? Lon, I did not even think, I did not even hesitate. 16-ounce bottle, plastic bottle. I turned it upside down and I drained it, right? Drained it. As Maker's Mark. Nothing else but Maker's Mark, right? So then Angry Capri, our other brother, had a ticket to the game, and he's with me, but like he's trying to get through the crowd because the crowd's going crazy, and I'm like, yeah! My brother grabs me, and he's like, "What did you do?" I'm like, "Yeah!" And then like 2 seconds later, I'm like, I don't think that was a good idea. And I mentioned to you we had the seats on the concourse, so we're the first row. So like when Leonard Fournette, as a freshman, scored his first touchdown in the North End Zone and struck the pose, I was right there with him on the concourse striking the pose because you could jump up out of your seat because you had the concourse there. I fell off of the bench, like off of that row onto the concourse before kickoff. I have no recollection of anything. My brother Dwayne, I'm sorry, my brother Angry Capri takes me to the first aid station. I proceed to throw up everywhere, all over the first aid station, and then he's got to go. So at halftime, he's outside, and I got to bring me to everybody else that's still on campus tailgating. And the marshal or the stadium employee said, "You let him step across this line without taking a step with him, he's getting arrested for public drunkenness." Okay, well, I can bring him to my other brother and come back, right? Nope. Once you cross this line, he's out, you're out, you can't get back in. So Angry Capri was ready to kill me. So then I had to go get Rocky to come and grab me. No, Angry Capri left. I went home with Angry Capri. So did he leave at halftime, Daniel?
No. I thought you went home with Angry Capri's wife.
No, Angry Capri drove. I don't know when Dwayne left the
But
stadium.
Angry
Oh,
Capri would have went home with one of his buddies that he was sitting
no,
with.
no, no. Actually, Uncle Roy, Daryl Stevens brought Uncle Roy home to Metairie, and then Dwayne and his wife brought me home. Lon, I got to my mother's house on the West Bank in my underwear. I lost my shoes on the side of the interstate because I threw up. They had a bag for me, and I threw up in the car, and I was fine into the bag, right? And then I took a deep breath while my head was still buried in the bag that I just threw up in, and then everywhere. So he pulls over on the interstate. It had rained, as I mentioned. I'm all over my clothes, all over everything. I lose my shoes in the muck on the side of the interstate. I get to my mother's. They put me to bed. I was actually on the back sun porch, right? So a screened-in sun porch, or a covered, enclosed sun porch. So I wake up Sunday morning, and my mother had slept out on the sofa with me because I really probably had alcohol poisoning. It was a very, very stupid thing to do. Probably the second drunkest I've ever been in my entire life. And so I wake up the next morning, I'm dead, and I'm like, who won the game? And my mother proceeds to curse me out from A to Z. You've got young children. You don't know what was in that bottle. You could have died. What an asshole. I'm not telling you who won the game. I'm like, who won the game? And she's like, Florida, 13-3. I'm like, oh, so I didn't really miss anything. But my uncle, my then favorite uncle, was notorious for sending condemnation letters. Like if you disappointed him or the family, you would get a letter in the mail. And shockingly, I never got a letter. So that's the only thing I had. Oh, so then real quick, the next year, it's 2010. Angry Capri's in those seats. It's hot. I don't remember what game it is. He's got a headache because of the heat and everything. He goes to the first aid station. And the lady's like, I know you. No, ma'am, you don't know me. Yeah, I know you. And he's like, I just need aspirin. I have a headache and all, and I've never been here before. And she's like, no, I definitely know you. And he's like, well, last year during the Florida game, Lonn, the woman's like, you're Steve's brother. And like I was notorious. They knew me in the first aid station because that's how sick I was. So yeah, then when they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to talk about these old games," Steve, you want to tell them about 2009? I don't remember anything about it. I didn't even make it
You got
to
roofied. That's what I think. You got roofied.
No, I mean,
Seriously?
it was like a pretty full bottle of Maker's Mark.
Yeah, you can't just chug Maker's Mark, right? A 20-ounce bottle of Maker's Mark.
It's like at least a 16-ounce bottle. It was bad. It was bad. So,
Do you remember flipping somebody's car in the parking lot before that game? Do you remember this story?
vaguely, we didn't flip it over.
Y'all, I left to go in the stadium because I had student tickets, so I had to go early. But somebody double parked somebody. There were so many people on campus that day that double parking was taking place everywhere. And so somebody got double parked and needed to leave that wasn't going to the game. And the horde of people that were the 40 or so that were tailgating with Zombie Bob, there was some young lady who needed to leave, so they proceeded to, did y'all flip the car over? Did y'all just move it?
I think we must have moved it. We wouldn't have flipped it on its side or something like that. That would have been too much trouble.
Yeah, that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
I thought I remember Angry
the
Capri saying y'all flipped it over.
Don't do that.
But 40 guys, it was probably wasn't 40. It was probably 20 guys moved the vehicle so that this young lady could leave campus that day.
I kind of sort of remember that.
That was before the Maker's Mark.
For the Maker's
Marcus, yeah. So, all right. So, Lonn, thanks for putting up with us tonight. I know that it was an abnormal, not a normal format of an LSU podcast for during the season. But before we let you go, again, thank you for your time always, and tell everybody where we can find you on social media.
Hey man, I love the show. I love delving into the time machine of LSU and Zombie Bob. Man, you can tell a story, so I'm game for it, brother. You can find me at lsuodyssey.com. You can find me Twitter at Lonn Phillips, Instagram LSU Odyssey Lonn. I think I'm on Facebook too. Maybe I'm not sure if I basically all of those. YouTube, LSU Odyssey is the name of the channel as well on YouTube. And definitely subscribe to the Go team. These guys kick ass. They've got a bunch of other guests that come on. I saw you guys had Braden Fajoko on your show at one point. That's fantastic.
I love
him.
him.
You guys,
the LSU player of all time.
You guys, thank you so much for having me on. You guys are awesome.
Okay,
thanks,
man.
Lonn.
Thank you again, Lonn.
Anytime, man. Would love to have you. All right, all the best, Lonn. Thanks so much.
Go Tigers, baby.
Go
Go
Tigers.
Tigers. All right, we're out of here, guys.
Good night, Pot. Good night.